Hello everyone, welcome to another segment of intellectual brainstorming and sharing of educational ideas. My name again remains David Oni. I want to use this medium to encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, to subscribe to our channel, David Oni, to click on the notification bell, and also to like our channel and to leave your comment behind so that we can serve you more better. Today we're going to look into a different topic in government. Today we're looking at government, and we are going to look into what we call political culture. Political culture. What is political culture? Political culture can be defined as the norms, sentiment, beliefs that guides the behavior of people in a political system. So when you're talking about political culture, you are talking about the norms, sentiments, beliefs that guides the behavior of people in a political system. What do we mean by the word norms, culture, sentiments, and beliefs? What we're simply saying here is that what are those things that regulates the people, the behavior of people in a political system? What are the things that propels them? What are the things that guides their action, that conditions their culture in a political system? That's what we mean by the word political culture. How politically cultured are we in Africa, and how politically cultured are they in advanced country? When we try to compare these two together, we discover that they are not egalitarian, they are not equal. Because when you talk about political culture in an advanced country, their political culture is a super structured political culture, is a well organized political culture because of the political stability in their system and some other conditions we're going to see in this topic. So, but when you talk about the political culture of those in developing countries, you discover that in developing countries, the political cultures are not really good at all. Because of why? Because of some factors owing to this behavior of people in this political system. So when we talk about political culture, we are talking about how much are people interested in the political system of their country. Are they interested? Are they politically appetite? Are they politically, do they form political apathy? Are they having what we call political dissatisfaction or disaffection? Do they love their political system? Do they love their political leaders? Are the political leaders so close to the people? Do the people know about the history of their political system? Do they know about their coat of arms, their national anthem, the political heroes in their countries, and so many other factors? So when you compare all these things together, it's covered in developing countries, people's political culture is at the rudimentary level. It's not conditioned at all. It's not at the level of superstructure. But when you look at the advanced country, it's at the level of superstructure because of the well-organized system. So when we talk about political culture, we're talking about the norms, the sentiment that guides the behavior of people in the system. So in developing countries, it is zero. In Asia and other developing countries, it is zero. In Latin America, it is very, very low. It is very, very low. The political culture is very, very low, owing to some factors like maybe, for example, election malpractices, unfree and fair election, manipulation of election, mismanagement, corruption and political instability and the rest of them. These and so many other things will condition the political culture of citizens in a particular political system. So let us now look at a component of political culture. Components of political culture. Components of political culture. Components of political culture. We have number one, cognitive orientation. We have number two, affective orientation. Then we have number three, evaluative orientation. Now, when you talk about cognitive orientation, we are talking about how well do the people know about their political system. How well do they know? What is the basis or the foundation of their cognitive orientation is what we mean by this. So when you talk about cognitive orientation, you are talking about how well, how informed, how enlightened, how interested are the people in the political system. In developing countries, it's called that the political culture of the people is not really very good at all. People are formed what we call political apathy. They are not interested in the political system, owing to some factor which I've ever stated before. So because of that, the cognitive orientation of people in developing countries is very low. They are not interested at all because of bad governance, because of maladministration, because of unfair political system, and because of election malpractices and so many other things like that. Then number two, we have what we call affective orientation. How can people be able to critically assess how the political system is affecting them is what we call affective orientation. The ability of the people to critically assess the impact of the political system on them is what is affective orientation. So if you ask an average Nigerian now, how affective is the political orientation, it will give you a negative answer. It will give you an answer that is not yes. Why? Because of the political system, because of the way, the foundation of the political system in the country. So the affective orientation is about how can you critically assess how does the political system affect you? Is it positively or negatively? Does government policies, are they affecting the people positively or negatively? Is the affective orientation. Then number three is what we call evaluative orientation. How can you critically evaluate? Can you give them a scorecard? Can you give them a high score? Or can you say that the government has performed below expectation? Is our evaluative orientation. How can we evaluate them? How can we assess them? How can we say, what can we see about them? That is this government a people-oriented government, or a government that is not in the interest of the people? So it is what we're talking about here is what we mean by evaluative orientation. So cognitive means what? Your idea. The evaluative affective means what? How can you state how the government has affected you? And the evaluative simply means what? Your ability to assess the government and evaluate the government, whether to give them a good scorecard or to give them a low scorecard, is what we're talking about when you're referring to evaluative orientation. So all these are the components of what we call political culture. So let us now look at what we call determinants of political culture. Determinants of political culture. Determinant of political culture. Because we don't have enough time, determinant of political culture. Number one, we have what we call different ethnicity. Then we have number two, political instability. We have number three. Number three is what we call impact of colonialism. Impact of colonialism. Then we can say that number four is what we call, we can talk about what we call socio-economic, structure. That is our number four, socio-economic economic structure. So let us quickly talk about all these things. Then number 5, we can add maybe historical development for number 5. Historical development. So I think we are good for now. So number 1, we're talking about determinant of political culture. We have what we call different ethnicity. If you look at the concept of Nigeria, you discover that we have different ethnicity in this country, and because of the different ethnicity, it is affecting our political culture. So the different ethnicity that we have in this country really have an impact in our political culture, because of the different ethnicity, we are not united one way or the other, and because of that, the political culture of the country is very, very weak. The structural foundation of the political culture of the country is very, very weak. But in a society where the ethnicity is well united and they can speak with one voice, you discover that the political culture of that country is going to be very high. But in a country where you have different voices, different ethnicity speaking in different direction, and they are not speaking with one voice, you discover that the political culture of such a country is going to be very, very low. Then political instability. In Africa and Nigeria, for example, where there is political instability, you discover that the political culture of an average Nigerian is going to be very, very weak. Why? Because of the political instability, it will make people to become apolitical. It will make them to form what we call political apathy. It will make them not to be interested in the politics of the country. Because why? A lot of them have become apolitical. They are not interested. They have formed apathy for the politics of the country. Because in such a country or in such continent or in such areas, politics is a do or die affair. So in a country where there is political instability, political culture is going to be very, very low. Then the impact of colonialism. You discover that the colonial legacy that is left by our colonial master is still affecting us today. Nigeria inherited a lot of colonial policy from our colonial master, which is Britain. For example, in our educational system, we are still practicing to some extent the educational policy left behind by the colonial master. So the impact of colonialism will affect the political culture of a country one way or the other. Then the socio-economic structure. In advanced country, the socio-economic structure is a super socio-economic structure. It's a strong socio-economic structure. An economic structure that is built on a very strong foundation. But in developing countries in Latin America and Africa, the socio-economic structure is very, very, very weak. And because the socio-economic structure is very, very weak, you discover that people become apolitical, and political culture will be very, very low as well. So in developing countries like Latin America, in Africa, and in Asia, political culture is very, very low. When you talk about the socio-economic structure, the socio-economic structure is very weak one. Then you talk about historical development. The historical development of the country will condition the political culture of a country. You discover that most of the revolutions that happened in France during the French Revolution in the 16th, 17th century is still affecting the basis of their political development today. So we're not saying that their political development was a negative one, but it's a positive one. It's a very positive one. So the historical development of a country will one way or the other affect the political culture, most especially when it is built on a very strong and solid foundation. But in a situation where the historical development is not built on a good foundation, you discover that the political culture is going to be very, very low. So in developed countries, political culture is very, very high. People are interested. They are not apolitical. They have not formed political apathy, or they have not become too not interested in the political system of their country. They form interest. They have interest in it. They want to know what is going on in their country. But in a developing country, or in Latin America or Africa and in Asia, the political culture is at the rudimentary level. So we are going to end the topic today on political culture. We have said that political culture is talking about the norms, the beliefs, the precepts, the belief system that people have about their political system. And we also talk about what we call cognitive, evaluative, and the affective orientation. Then we also talk about what we call determinant of political culture. We mentioned political ethnicity, different ethnicity. Then we have what we call political stability. We have what we call political impact of colonialism. Then we have what we call socio-economic structure and historical development. On this point, we are going to end On this point, we're going to end our topic on what we call political culture. Till we meet again next time, I remain your loyal servant, David Oni. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel called David Oni. Then click on the notification button, subscribe to that channel, and leave your comments so that we can be able to serve you better. On this note, I say a very big thank you to you for always watching our channels. Till we meet next time, God bless you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.